And now the latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for June 14th. Cristobal is dead, Nuri is dying as it moves inland over China, about to make landfall as we speak really. Day 166 of the year so far, and we've got the green light, all clear again in the tropics, at least after Nuri goes away very shortly indeed. Day 14 of Atlantic hurricane season, and nothing's on the horizon, no systems active and no systems to watch, so nothing going on in the Atlantic. It's the same story over in the Eastern Pacific, where it's day 31 of the year so far. Long-range models still hinting that there will be a train of tropical activity, but it's still more than a week away, so I wouldn't put much faith into anything yet. We do have a 10% chance for a potential tropical cyclone in the Philippine Sea, following in the footsteps of Nuri, which is making landfall at this time, as we say. Down to 35 mile-an-hour winds is our estimate. And in the Southern Hemisphere, no systems active here. The 2019-20 Southwest Indian Ocean animation will be the first of the Southern Hemisphere ones to be released next Friday. This is the latest on Nuri, going to move inland, very short cone, that's why we've done it in this format, which is the format that you often see on our social media items, and it will be gone in about 12 to 24 hours, it's not going to last long at all. So what does the North Atlantic actually look like? Well, there is an interesting little disturbance there off the coast of Nicaragua, which has interested a few people, but it doesn't look like it's going to be anything. It was one of those areas that we were looking at a while back. Lots of dry air, quite notable off the coast of Africa there again. The Gulf of Mexico, fairly quiet, little thunderstorm out there, but Florida getting the brunt of the thunderstorms today, southwestern parts of the state. In the Eastern Pacific, you can again see the doldrums there, the intertropical convergence zone, and nothing really heading up above that. So again, the Eastern Pacific very quiet right now. That's going to remain for a little while longer at least. Central Pacific very much the same. I know we don't get to see it very often on here. There's Nuri, as you can see, it's had an exposed center of circulation for more than 24 hours. It's partially exposed at this point. Could still be an outside chance that it's still a tropical storm, but satellite imagery estimates put it now down to 35 miles per hour after earlier ASCAP pass overnight, or beginning of the night, getting 45 mile an hour reading. The South Pacific, fairly quiet here. Again, a few thunderstorms north of Fiji, but over significant land areas, really nothing to report. And the Indian Ocean, again, we're looking at a lot of those monsoonal type showers occurring over parts of central and northern India, some of it loosely associated with what was Invest 94B. Sea surface temperatures rebounding slightly in the warmest part of the Eastern Pacific there, just that warm, short little pocket there, small I should say, 30 degrees Celsius. The Gulf of Mexico recovering a little bit, those 26, 28 degrees there getting back in the Gulf of Mexico, and extending out over the main development region. The Indian Ocean, because of more cloud cover, those sea surface temperatures are now starting to decline, and over in the Western Pacific as well, you can see a bit of upwelling after Nuri there, especially near the southern Chinese coast. Elsewhere though, not really. The Philippine zone's still very warm indeed, and still well above average, as you can see on these anomaly charts, and quite clearly La Nina still in effect, still has itself well imposed. This is Tropical Depression Nuri, which is looking a shadow of what it could have been, because it never really was anything in the first place. You do remember that models at one point had this reaching Category 1 Typhoon status, and one stray run from the HWRF called for a Category 3 landfall in pretty much this location. Well, they got the track right, but the intensity dead wrong. Still a little bit of shear, but it's more dry air, I think, on the eastern side of the storm there that's causing the problems. And I think it's going to be its final flush in terms of convective activity there before the storm moves inland. What we've seen on model runs on the simulated infrared imagery is that the thunderstorm activity will completely die off in just 12 to 24 hours from now. So it really doesn't have very long left as it moves ashore the coast of southern China. On June 14th, 1974, we had 4 cyclones active right now. Connie was the strongest, the category 3 on this day, high end at that, along with Dolores, Dina and Emma, all Pacific storms that were active on this day in 1974. Dina was a much stronger cyclone, which was making its final landfall in Vietnam. Emma had just formed, and Dolores was really just forming at this point, and it would go on to live a very short life. So that is on this day. Looking at our usual graphics here, the next name on the Atlantic naming list will be Dolly, followed by Edward. In the Eastern Pacific, it's Boris, followed by Christina. In the Central Pacific, on list 1, Hone is coming up, followed by Iona. In the Western Pacific, the next name is Sinlaku, followed by Hagapit. Yes, it's back after just over nearly 6 years. In the North Indian Ocean, Gati next on list 1, followed by Nivar. And in the Southern Hemisphere, the next name in the Australian region is Imogen, followed by Joshua. And in the Southwest Indian Ocean, Kundai, if it forms in the next 2 weeks. And in Fiji, the next name is Yolanda. That's all for now. We'll be back with another tropical weather bulletin tomorrow. Check out our new look cyclone tracker on the Force 13 website for the latest up-to-date information. You can also find us, of course, on our YouTube channel, search Force 13, and also on Facebook and Twitter, Force 13 at Force 13 on Twitter for the latest updates. You can also help the project become even better by becoming an Ultimate Fan on YouTube. To see the full list of Ultimate Fan benefits and to join, visit youtube.com/force13/join. With a special thanks to our top supporters this month. You can also check out our growing merch store so you can show Force 13's colours wherever you go. You can also find a link to our Discord server underneath this video in the description.